The Homeland Security agents are descending on the state of Minnesota, all in response to a sweeping fraud scheme. Here's Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons.
What we're seeing is there's always a tide when it comes to sanctuary jurisdictions where you can hide in plain sight. You see a lot of these fraudsters use a lot of the sanctuary rules and sanctuary protections to, enact criminal fraud just like this. When Homeland Security Investigations goes into these businesses, there is criminal activity when it comes to labor trafficking, child trafficking, human exploitation, and that's what we're looking at up there in Minnesota.
And this is the story everybody's talking about right now. For more on this, we are joined by CBP Senior Advisor Ron Vitiello. Ron, good morning to you. Great to see you.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. So some Republicans are pushing the idea that any Somalis who are convicted of defrauding American taxpayers as part of this scheme should have their legal status revoked, even their U.S. citizenship stripped away. Here's Republican Congressman from Minnesota, Tom Emmer. He says, quote, "I have 3 words regarding Somalis who have committed fraud against American taxpayers. Send them home. If they're here illegally, deport them immediately. If they're naturalized citizens, revoke their citizenship and deport them quickly after. If we need to change the law to do that, I will." Ron, as you are well aware, denaturalization is a pretty rare process. It's also very tedious. Should it be on the table here?
Absolutely. That's the way the law works. If you defraud the government, and obviously there's a lot of fraud going on in Minnesota in this case, the U.S. attorney's talking about up to $9 billion. The federal government sends Minnesota $26 billion every year. That's about a third of their budget, and they certainly weren't watching what was happening. And so if these people are involved in fraud to get that money and send it all over the world to keep it for themselves, they may have lied on their citizenship applications. They might have lied on how they came into the country, et cetera, what benefits they exposed themselves to on the immigration side. And if they lied about that, then they could be removed if they're in the country as immigrants, and if they're citizens and they lied on those in that process, they could be denaturalized.
And there are some media outlets who are kind of pushing back on this DHS crackdown in the state of Minnesota, essentially saying this is all about demonizing immigrants and Somalis. Take a listen.
The other part of this is an attempt to make this about Somalis in general, as opposed to just about the people who are responsible. It's not really about the fraud.
This is absolutely an attack on the Somali community and on immigrants writ large. The vast majority of the Somali residents of Minnesota are citizens. They're not new immigrants. So this is just a further example of the Trump White House doing everything they can to vilify immigrants.
But I mean, Ron, you look at the numbers. There have been 92 people charged in this fraud scheme in Minnesota. 82 of them have been Somalis. Facts are facts. The overwhelming majority of the people committing these crimes are foreigners who have come here to take advantage of the American taxpayer. Give us your thoughts.
Well, 100%. We had an administration with Joe Biden that was encouraging people to come in the United States. Apparently, they're encouraging people to come to Minnesota and steal taxpayers' money that's designed to help that very community. This is a crime that happened in a place, and that crime was conducted by certain people that are in the United States. They happen to be from Somalia, and so they're the ones that are going to be prosecuted and removed. And so the left that wants to run to the microphone and protect people who are in the country illegally, who have committed crimes and have defrauded Americans, they don't deserve our respect.
And I do want to ask you about another topic. Brand new report out regarding ICE arrests essentially says that new data shows that 70% of ICE arrests in 2025 were convicted criminals or people with pending charges. This from the Washington Examiner essentially says that in 2025, ICE arrested 595,000 illegal immigrants. And according to DHS data, 70% of them, about 416,000, have criminal convictions or pending criminal charges. Ron, got about 30 seconds left here. Democrats and activists have repeatedly said that ICE is not targeting criminals, but the data says otherwise.
Yeah, the facts are here, right? We've heard Tom Homan say this. We've heard the secretary and her leadership say this is what's going on. We're going after the worst of the worst. They're going after the worst of the worst. ICE is putting up record numbers on the board. Over almost 2 million people have decided to leave the country because they're here illegally. The policies are working. The front line is empowered to do a great job for America, and we're making America safe as we speak. The border's been locked down for the last year almost.
All right, got to leave it there. Bron Vitiello, Senior CBP Advisor, thanks for coming on. Appreciate your insights as always, my friend.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
You too.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.